Welcome back to the Football Terrace. Yesterday we saw the big claims made by rival fans. There was journalists, there was media outlets talking about the potential corruption at Manchester United between them and the Premier League. How were Man United? How did the Premier League allow Manchester United more so to have bigger leeways and have this £40 million leeway of COVID money to avoid PSR? And we spoke about it because we felt that it was right to. We spoke about it, because we felt that it would be wrong to ignore it and almost hypocritical of me, who spoke about these allegations towards other clubs at large, to not discuss it. In case anybody hasn't heard what was said, this is the claim that was made. Let's take a little listen, and then Man United have responded and I believe cleared their name. Let's take a little listen.
Again towards the end of the window,
right.
or if they can, of course, in January.
Briefly, were Manchester United sailing close to the wind on profit and sustainability?
United is very interesting because we do have quite a lot of information about United because, of course, they quarterly report in the US. And so we know that they've told us that the end-of-year results will have a £660 million top line and about 140 million EBITDA, which also tells us certain things about their costs. Now, bottom line is, when you drag that down on the 3-year assessment, United would have failed PSR for the season just gone, save for two things. One is they were given, it appears, an exceptional allowance of £40 million for COVID in 2022, which no other club had.
And that was the crux of this big claim. It has led to, we showed the screenshots yesterday, multiple fans, Everton fans, Newcastle, City, those three clubs especially, kind of come out and push back and say this is a disgrace. We've all had points deductions. We've had to sell stars, had to sell young players. We're frustrated. This is not on. So, of course, a number of outlets reached out to Manchester United for a response, and they got one. And they got the response, and the response we're going to show for you up on the screen right now was very simple. Manchester United had to cancel their 2001 summer tour. They stated the planned tour of the summer of 2021 was cancelled, leading to a loss in revenue for ticket sales, merchandising, and other associated income streams. There was also the commercial partner insolvency. So at the same time, a commercial partner that had committed millions of pounds to Manchester United went out of business due to their own poor financial health. Man United, of course, not being at fault for this. There was the inability to fulfill sponsorship partner obligations during the summer of 2021. Again, no fault of Man United due to the global pandemic that was on. Man United also had big rebates that they had to pay to the Premier League and UEFA. And they also go on to state that since Manchester United is listed on the New York Stock Exchange, they are required to disclose more detail on financial information compared to other clubs. This transparency explains why certain financial impacts, such as COVID-related claims, are more visible on their accounts. The conclusion of this is that there is no corruption that went on. Man United were open, Man United were honest, and Man United were very, very transparent with what was going on. So there you have it. Man United were losing money. They've gone to the Premier League. They have presented all of the reasons that they have lost money. They've asked for a large piece of dispensation, and this was granted. So, of course, I understand why this was sort of challenged by a number of rival fans. To Kieran McKenna, who shared this news with the world, the leading football financial expert, has been asked questions like, I'm struggling to understand this, Kieran. Why are you saying other clubs have also offset 40 million of losses to COVID, but these are not visible in the UK accounts? He says, no, I'm saying other clubs had losses likely to be far lower than those at Man United. No obligation to disclose. So this is what's really interesting. No one knows exactly how many losses were related to sponsorships, TV issues, etc., etc., etc. of other clubs. It's not public information. It is with Manchester United because we are on the stock exchange in New York. So the difference between us, saying Chelsea, City, Forest, Everton, is that we only know what they declare to a certain degree. Their accounts will show the losses, but it may not detail the specificity around each situation. Man United's does. So it leads to a lot more speculation of, well, why has this club got a bigger... Man United, by the way, earn a lot more money than the majority of the other clubs in question. So if we all have a tour cancelled, if we all have a sponsor go out of business, if we all can't compete obligations, and if we all have to give our TV money back internationally and domestically, Man United will typically have to give back more because we earn more. And this is what has been stated by Kieran McKenna. And the only reason why Man United is being highlighted is because we're the only one who publishes this, because we have to. There's also a copy here that says not Premier League corruption, because Kieran Maguire has said that it's not. He went on to say, but certainly inconsistent. Bad debts caused by commercial partners' insolvency should not have been permitted as a deduction. This is exactly the type of issue that the Premier League rejected on Everton's. A really fair claim here from Andy Judge. Again, expertly responded to by Kieran McKenna, which was, this was a specific COVID claim linked to a company going bust due to COVID. Clubs voted on this rule. So again, Man United being able to write these things off because of CV19 is a very different scenario to somebody doing it in 2023, 24, 25, or in the future. The clubs voted for this almost unanimously. So Man United have just operated in the parameters that all these rival clubs, all these rival fans, their clubs voted for this. Their clubs obligated this. And the reason why I thought it was... I've had a lot of United fans come at me for doing the content yesterday. And for me, it's a case of, if we've done wrong, it should be outed, irrespective. I don't want my club doing wrong. I'm not going to try and cover it up and protect it. I want my club to operate within the rules of the game. But I think it's important to talk about. And I'm so glad we did. Because I think channels like us, the likes of Kieran Maguire, the media outlets that picked up on this and spoke to Man United, we now have clarity as to exactly what went on. All above board, all within the rules and within the regulations, as voted for by other clubs. And the only reason we know the allowance is as high as this is because we're the only ones who have to declare it. Other clubs don't even want to declare exactly why they're losing money half the time, let alone be as transparent as Man United. By the way, we're not choosing to do it. We're forced into doing it because at the time we were on the New York Stock Exchange. What I find really interesting now is it's moved away from this. And, obviously I'd love to see Stefan's response to this, and hopefully on TalkSport next week he does. But for me, I think what this now does is it removes any sort of talk of corruption in this circumstance. This is no red cartel nonsense. This is no Man United being given preferential treatment to anybody else. This is Man United being open, honest, and transparent. Now, the only way now you're going to be able to prove corruption, if you still think it exists, is by your football clubs declaring all of their losses and the reasons behind them, why they had the losses, and then we can compare notes. But until all the other 19 clubs, or at the very least the clubs that have suffered at the hands of PSR, are willing to open up their books with the level of transparency that Manchester United have to due to financial regulations of the New York Stock Exchange, any claims of corruption or cheating are futile at best and embarrassing at worst. Because we have proven why we were allowed and given that exemption. For your clubs to show that this is an anomaly and could lead to could be favoritism, could be the red cartel, could be corruption, could be cheating, your clubs have now got to open up and be as transparent. But my guess is that your clubs are not even going to want to show their books. So how are we calling the club that's being open and transparent corrupt, and the clubs that want to keep it all behind closed doors honest? Based on your logic, not mine. Well done to Manchester United to reacting. It's good to see that these allegations of corruption have been disproven so quickly. And it just goes to prove, when you have unequivocal evidence that you've done nothing wrong, look how quickly, look how swiftly you can put these situations to bed.